right, so we're back here for another one. So today, the idea that I wanted to try to unravel is this thing that I've been thinking about, kind of as I feel like my life has been getting better. I now have good things to talk about, but I'm still finding it difficult to talk about the good things in my life, and that's trying to understand why that is. Let's talk about some things around that. But before we get to that, I wanted to come back to what I was talking about in the previous recording, which was kind of actually the main, like how was one of the roots of what I was feeling then, about talking about guilt, and kind of something that I felt like I've carried for a long time, that I have felt guilty about, and to this day don't know, or I find interesting that I'm still holding on to it. So when I was, what was this? This was when I was a kid. I would say maybe somewhere between 7 and 10 years old. It was getting close to Christmas time. My brother's friend had gotten a job at GameStop, and his name is Benny. And Benny told my brother, "Hey, like, if you guys ever need something, just let me know. I'll buy it for you so you can get the discount." And so I asked my brother, "Hey, this is a game I want to get. Can you ask him for it?" And he said he would. And then I kind of waited for a couple weeks, and nothing. I don't think he had asked him, or I don't know what was going on, but there was some delay. I wasn't getting what I wanted, so I was like, all right, well, you're not gonna ask him, then I'll just go ask him then. And so I went to the store. I was kind of looking around. I think I was getting something, and I was trying, and it was a really busy day because it was right around the holiday season. And so I was in line and kind of like hoping, and Benny was there working and as one of the cashiers, and so I was hoping that I'd get him as the cashier, and so I did. But he was still getting trained, so his manager was like nearby, and so I asked him, "Hey, I'm buying this." I was like, "Oh, by the way, like, could you get me a discount on something?" And the manager heard that, and so then a couple of days later, I found out that he got fired, likely because you're not supposed to share the employee discount. And I remember feeling like absolute shit, because then it was like I fucked up someone's money. I mean, sure, it's a GameStop job, not that big a deal, but I mean, we're kids, so it's probably not a lot of money when you think about it, if you're thinking about minimum wage jobs, but it was still, for whatever reason, he was working, and so that kind of fucked up things for him. And I felt terrible. And I remember we had a bunk bed with the trundle that you pull out at the bottom, and for like half a day, I was just like hiding under there because I felt terrible. And I mean, I haven't felt something like that, where when I feel guilty, like that I hide, but I think that's kind of the point that I was trying to get to in talking about guilt, of it just being this thing that, like, completely makes me want to disappear. Just want to share that, because that was like that was kind of the meat of how I've been thinking about guilt. All right, but so to talk about positivity. So I don't know what the best word is to describe how I've looked, or how I look at life a lot of times, but it's like some form of pessimism, nihilism, but it's very often looking at life in terms of problems and what are the problems to solve. So it's not so much focusing on like what's good, And so for a long time, that's what life was. I mean, there were a lot of problems in life, and I think because I didn't have parents growing up, not or I didn't have yeah, I guess I didn't have like really parental figures around in my childhood to like help me figure out how to navigate life. So I didn't no one ever taught me really to look for the silver linings and to like instead of focusing on the negative that I should find a way to see what the good is in things that are happening. I don't feel like I really had anyone close to me helping me learn that. And I think it's also there's a part of it where I just feel like that's just how my mind works, where it's finding problems is easy, and I mean they're almost like puzzles, and I feel like a lot of what I do to make a living is focused around problems. It's not focused around good things. What I've seen through work is no one pays attention when there's good things going on. Like if there's good things, it's great, but then it becomes something you don't have to pay attention to because everything's working fine. There's usually, yeah, I mean, I guess I don't even know exactly how to say why I don't bother to talk about or like to pay attention to the things that are going well. What I can say is if there's an issue that it will warrant attention, because I can't let things go off course, or I gotta minimize impact if something has already gone wrong. And so problems become priorities, but I guess that doesn't really give me an answer of why I don't pay attention to the good stuff, other than like there's not the best explanation I would have is that I don't have the time for it, but I don't think that's true. All right, so there's something else, I guess, there. But yeah, anyway, so yeah, like at work, I'm only paying attention to the problems, and that's where my mind lives a lot of times. Is like I'm trying to either anticipate problems or I'm trying to fix problems. And so a lot of times I'm looking at things almost through, I guess, a negative lens. And then I'm doing that even just like in my everyday life, where I'm often, okay, well, so maybe that's kind of part of it then. So I guess my mind, or I could see this being a reason that my mind would focus on the negative things because I'm trying to prevent them. Yeah, I mean that's obvious, but I'm seeing something to do with control, trying to control things. So if my mind is focused on things that can go wrong, then I guess I'm trying to find a way to prevent them so that I don't get it in a situation where things can really go off course. So I guess it's almost like a survival instinct for me to look at things as the negatives, just trying to preserve my success or my place in where I am in life. I guess that makes a little bit of sense to me. But yeah, so in work, in life, my mind tends to be focused on preventing shit from hitting the fan, I guess. And I've done a good job of preventing things from shitting the fan. Not even that, though. I guess I'd rather look at it as saying I've kept improving my hand over time. So much to the point where like now I feel like I am experiencing life in a way that I hadn't for a long time, because I was very emotionally stunted for a while, and emotions were very overwhelming for me, and so I was pretty numb to things, because even when things, it was even hard to kind of handle things that were good. It's like I wouldn't get excited about things, and because I didn't want that disappointment. But if things were bad, it was pretty. That was a comfortable place to be in. I kind of knew what to do with that. But then it's like, if I'm getting excited about something, then the outcome can be not what I'm hoping for, and that could have been a little too much for me to handle before. But now I feel like I'm at a place where I'm not preparing so much for life. Like, I'm just kind of existing without. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's. I don't know. It sounds so stupid for me to say that. That, like, oh yeah, I'm just existing in life. I mean, we all are, but it's different now, because now I feel like if life threw something at me, I could figure it out now. And I think I'm a very resourceful person, and it's not just that now I have that ability to, like, kind of take anything on. I think I've always had some capability to overcome the obstacles in my life, and so now that I guess now that I've seen those skills in effect more often, I've become comfortable knowing that whatever situation arises, like I can't go into my bag and, like, pull that stuff out. And before, I wasn't so confident in that, and so things were still pretty rigid, and I was still trying to have control over a lot of things. And now I feel like I can allow myself to experience something without trying to make it something. I'm okay just going through the motion of the experience, and I'm not so concerned about what's on the other side of it. And so through that, a lot of pretty amazing things have happened. I've been able to experience a lot of beautiful things in life now. But when I try to talk about it with other people, because obviously I want to share it now, right? I want to share it now because I think I don't know, like, I think that's what life is about, is it's like beautiful things. And there's just a lot of beauty in life, even when things are tough. Like, now when I'm sad, like, I know I'm sad, but I still smile, like, when I'm sad sometimes. Like, I'm in the moment, and I feel that I'm sad. But to me, even just being able to feel it now makes me happy, because, like, now it feels like I'm living still. And that's what I want to do. I want to live, and I want to take in as much as I can, and also share it with people. But it feels, I haven't had the experience before, like, talking about life in a positive manner, because I was very much focused on the negative things. And so now I'm in this place where I have more positive things to share, but I don't have the language, and then I feel awkward trying to share those things, and I don't know if it's because I don't have the practice in the language, or if because in general it's just, like, not something that we really do well as a society. So recently, like, one of, like, the most impactful experiences that I've had in a while was watching a play in New York. So I was there, that was that Memorial Day weekend, and I want to go see a play. And so this time I went, kind of, for the most part, it was a solo trip. I'd been with my friends before, but I've really enjoyed the time I've spent in New York, but I wanted a little bit more freedom to kind of do the things that I wanted to do, and, like, this play was one thing that I wanted to do, because, like, here in New York, that's what, New York's known for Broadway, but it's not something that I would have floated to my friends, just because it didn't really seem like a thing people would want to do. So I was out there this time. I was looking for plays, just kind of reading reviews and things like that, and I found one that fit the schedule, seemed like it'd be interesting. But I wasn't thinking about it too much going into it, of like, is it going to be good or not? I was just like, you know what, I'm just here to explore the city, experience something. And so I go to the play. This is the first play I've been to, so I wasn't really sure what to expect. But prior to getting to the play, like before I got to New York, I was having really bad diarrhea from something I'd eaten like a couple days before flying out there. And so I thought I was going to be having the runs, and I didn't think I was going to be able to make it through the play. But luckily my GI calmed down, and I was able to sit through the whole thing. But through the play, like, I was very moved. Like, there's other media art that I have experienced that has touched me. You know, like, I've had movies that have made me cry, TV shows that have made me cry, music that I really resonate with, even art that sometimes just kind of like does speak to me in some way. But with all those things, I feel like there's a barrier, because there's a time difference, and then there's it's not happening live, I guess, is the main thing I'm trying to say. Or you're not seeing it live. You're not necessarily seeing all the work and the emotion that goes into someone making it. And it felt like that wall wasn't there during this play. Like, maybe their acting was so good, but I felt like I was just really getting a glimpse into someone's life. It didn't necessarily feel like this orchestrated thing. It felt like I was really getting a peek into what anyone might experience. And so what it was a story about a woman losing her husband, and I just, like, it was very, very raw, very emotional. And at the end of it, I had to sit there at the end to absorb that moment. And it gave me something that I haven't felt in a while, or like maybe have never felt before. But I didn't want the moment to end. It was something that filled me up so much that I was like, I want to be in this as long as possible. And so I sat there for like 10, 15 minutes while, there was no one else. Like, all the actors had left. It was just empty stage, but just, it was new, because a lot of times I feel like I'm ready to move on to the next thing, to get to the thing that I want to be in. And I was finally there. I was in the place where I wanted to be. I guess this place where I could appreciate life. And so I'd found it, and so I wanted to stay there as long as possible. And the other thing that I kind of got from that moment was like the belief that new things could still happen, that there'd still be new experiences out there for me, and that I guess that life is still worth living, because there's still something different that's going to happen as long as I stay present. Because I guess over the last couple of years, it felt like there was a monotony as kind of life had stabilized. Like, I've been at my same job for like 4.5 years now, and so that's pretty steady. And because I've been trying to avoid unknowns, that leads to life even more so feeling monotonous, because I'm not allowing these new variables to come into my life. And that moment gave me the belief that there will be new things that I'm going to experience over the years. And so, as much as I wanted to stay in that moment, I realized I can appreciate it, and I can move on and kind of let it go, because there's going to be something else down the line that is going to make me feel that again. And so I don't have to hold on to these things. And I guess I can look forward now, where I feel like for a long time I've been looking back at things that have happened that give me that semblance of like, this is life, this is what I'm here for, or holding on to things where I'm holding on to the memory of something because I'm afraid that if I don't keep that thing, that I'm not gonna find it again. And so it shed some light on a way that I can continue to move forward. And that's why, and I want to talk about it. And I have, my friends have asked me about that New York trip, and like that's one of the highlights of that trip. But it's a little difficult for me to talk about. I feel like it feels almost performative to talk about it. And yeah, that's kind of where I've been feeling as more good things in life have been happening, is like, if I talk about it, it feels awkward. Sometimes it feels like I'm bragging. Sometimes it feels like it's corny or cringy. And I'm trying to figure out, is that a me thing? Is that something that, I don't think it's just a me thing. I think for some reason it's easier to talk about issues in life. And so one clear example that I can think about was this one time that I was down in LA visiting a friend, and we went out to dance, and then I was talking to their friends, and these were people I didn't really know. And for a long time, like, this girl was just kind of talking about like all the things that were kind of the messiness in her life, I guess. And, I was just kind of there listening, wasn't contributing too much because this is someone I don't know. And so I didn't really want to interject and like discuss their dirty laundry. I didn't know how to handle their dirty laundry. I didn't want to say something that could be offensive. And so I was just kind of letting them talk. Didn't really know how to get a foothold in that conversation. But at some point, and I guess the thing she was talking about was like guys she was dating or like sleeping with, and the messiness with that, and like some complaints about work, pretty, like, I guess pretty typical shit. And they're then they're starting trying to pull me into the conversation. They're like, hey, and like, well, what's going on with you? And I'm just like nothing. Like, life's pretty good right now. I have nothing to complain about. Like, work's good. Everything, I don't know, everything's pretty good. It's like, how much more can I say about things being good without it sounding weird? And yeah, that was just kind of the end of it. And I remember just thinking, it's like, well, why isn't there more to say? Why can't we actually just go off and like keep talking about the good things? Why do I have to feel awkward to like say like, actually my life's pretty good? And I think it's because a lot of conversations I feel like do stem around kind of like problems people are dealing with. And so for me, I don't want to then turn around and be like, oh yeah, let me tell you about like all the way that my life is good after you've just like told me how you're really struggling. It would feel like a slap in the face. And so, and because when I get together with people and like try to and catch up, I guess I do want to hear about their problems, because I want to help them in some way, and I would hope that that I could be someone that they kind of vent those things so that it's not weighing so heavy on them. But maybe there's a way to just talk about the good shit, right? But I definitely don't have that practice. But good is important sometimes, right? And I think that's why I find it hard to say much about it. It's kind of like the work thing. It's like when things are going good, it's like I'm just like, yeah, we have no issues. It's kind of the extent of it. It's like, yeah, everything's going good. Don't got to worry about it. But yeah, I think it's one thing that I want to try to add to my life is being able to talk about those good things more often, because it's very easy to have discourse around bad things that are happening, and I feel like that's kind of the space that we're at, or that's or I see a lot of conversation about the lack of something. I guess is the way I would describe it, like the lack of friendship, the lack of romantic partners, the lack of avenues for financial success. And maybe it's like privileged to try to talk about the good things, but I see that if the mindset is constantly looking through things through the negative, I think no matter what it is that is being looked at, that you'll find the negative of it. And because like one thing that I really frustrates me to hear, especially in San Francisco, is just like how bad the dating scene is. And I almost want to say it's like a skill issue, and it sounds like such a trope. I don't think I'm using that word in the right word, but that's kind of like the feeling I'm going for. To say that, oh yeah, like dating sucks here. I mean, you say that about anything. Anything can be difficult, and just because something is difficult doesn't mean that it sucks or that it needs like or that something's wrong with it. It could just be that it is a difficult thing. It's like, I mean, yeah, I've had a hard time finding someone out here, but I don't go and like complain and say like, oh, shit sucks. I'm just like, I'm gonna keep at it. I gotta keep at it. Like that's the only yeah, there are people that are stuck. Then like, let me figure out how to better filter those people out and not waste my time with them, so that I don't get like more of that discouragement of like something going well and then it falling through and having that disappointment. Like I still feel like there's a lot of me that factors into the equation. It just kind of sounds like people are complaining about having to do work. So yeah, that's like I try to be as hopeful in dating as I can be. Like I've gotten fucked over in a couple of the last kind of things that I was trying to work with on someone, and I could be salty, but I don't want to be salty. Like fuck it, if like every time I get heartbroken, it's worth it to me to get heartbroken to then eventually find the thing that completes me. And I guess people aren't as resilient. Is that what it is? I don't know, because I'll still get my hopes up for like just like one girl. Like maybe we have one good conversation. I'll start thinking about like, what can this turn into? And it's fine if it doesn't turn into something. I'd rather have the hope than not have the hope. But so yeah, I think as my mission as trying to help people, I think one of those things is finding ways to talk about the positive things, and finding language that doesn't make me averse to that positivity, because there's definitely some people out there that are like super positive and bubbly, and like I don't like how that feels. Like, yes, let's celebrate things, but I want to celebrate things like competitively. Like, if I get a win, I want to be like, fuck yeah, dude, I fucking dominated that shit. Not just like, and not in some like soft feel good type way. No, it's like I want to be aggressive in my wins. So yeah, I don't know. What do you think? Do you think is there a good way to like talk about positive things, or are we really just not talking about them enough? All right, yeah. Thanks for listening. Catch you on the next one.